talk about bite sports.
Oh, that's nice. I like that topic.
Yeah. Lilo, your main sport is agility and obedience, right?
Yeah, obedience as well.
Why do you do bite sport, like bite work with your dogs?
Okay. So, I discovered bite sports with you, and the ideas that that are derived from bite sports that we can use to improve the dog's drive and confidence. And this is exactly why I do it. But besides just purely enjoying it, really, I just like to see my dogs getting a little bit of vicious. I really like all the training techniques that actually make them braver, make them more confident in certain situations. They definitely, I have had some dogs that were a little bit of more on the sensitive side, and bite sports always have helped me to open them up a little bit of more, make them more pressure resistant, which is very important in any sort of sport. Definitely it has taken more drive out of them as well. And I think what I also really like is that, like, when you do bite sports, you and your dog are a team that is fighting against this bad guy, which is you.
And I point out that it's a great experience you can have with your dogs, that they are going to the roots of like those, very primal behaviors, right? Like we, like dogs, are wired, or humans or animals, right? Like the pack animals, let's call it, to acquire food together and defend together, stay safe, right? And reproduce, right? I'm not going to be hunting with my dogs, right? And consuming a prey. Like, I'm not doing it. But what I can do with my dog, I can create the situation that we are defending together. We are fighting together, right? And the bond coming from that is unreplaceable. I can feel such a huge relationship boost, let's call it this way, right? Or like with my dogs that I'm, doing bite work with. This is why I call bite work karate for dogs, because the benefits that are coming from bite work are very similar to the benefits that are coming from doing martial arts. Right? So, and there are like different layers to it, right? If you have a child that has too much energy, likes to punch things and push things, etc., etc. So, what you are going to do? Like, will you keep it in the classroom on the desk and drop M&Ms to keep him in one place? I think much better idea.
I like that comparison. I really like it. I'm sorry. I haven't heard it before.
Dennis Fenzi, I borrowed that like from Dennis Fenzi. So you can, or you will actually give outlet of that energy, right? But in martial art training, there is a lot of structure, right, put into it. This is the outlet of energy, of course, but you have, like, children are also learning how to control it, right? If there is a gong, the fight stops, right? So there is, and similarly in bite work training, right? It's not vicious biting. There is structure to it. There is impulse control, right? But it's great that you mentioned confidence, because, like, for me, this is the main benefit that is coming from doing bite sports, right? So again, if we will go with the child example, if you have a child that is lacking confidence and is being bullied, right? What are you going to do? The best thing is to send them for example, karate class, right? To boost that confidence, to, make him feel better about himself, right? To let him to get some successes, and so on and so on.
Exactly, and feel that they can improve on certain skills. There's a lot going on, generally. And
maybe this is very close to my heart, because I was that child that was maybe not just a teenager that was like my ass was kicked in a very, very brutal way. And after that, I was lacking confidence. And I tried different things. And, I had physical response when I was in similar scenario to that unpleasant event, right? I had physical response of fight or flight, right? I was getting nervous, right? Everything went away the moment I started to do jiu-jitsu and martial arts, right? So, like, for me, the confidence boost is like something amazing. And we can, working with your dogs and seeing improvement in their level of confidence, like, make me think, hey, I could do it with all the dogs, right? So right now I'm
all of the
trying
dogs in
to
the world.
encourage people of like from all sorts of sports, right, to give that experience to their dogs, right?
And I think you have impacted quite a lot of people already. I think there are more people doing it with their sports dogs actually. And what I think about questions that people that haven't tried it before, what questions they ask is if it transfers in any way to everyday life, meaning that the dog is actually barking and biting the cushion as such. Yes, it transfers to everyday life. The dog is more confident, but because of all the structure that you mentioned when it comes to the training, dogs don't feel, well, they understand the structure and they don't feel that they should or need respond in that way in everyday life. So I do agility with my dogs, and not even once my dogs have looked at the judge in a weird way, because I don't know. So some people were joking about it, that I'm not going to be wearing let's say
I remember those
purple
comments.
trousers when I'm judging.
Like
No,
in the color that we use the leg sleeves,
Yes.
right? Yeah. It is this way I use that comparison. The fact that you will send your child to karate class doesn't mean, like the same child will go on the street and start fighting. Quite opposite, I would say, right? Because there is a structure, there is a context of doing things, right? So also. And this is a huge problem in bitework world, that some of the helpers or decoys, they are not making dogs more confident, they are making them sharper, right? And we are going a little bit deep with this sort of training, but especially if you are working in defense drive or aggression drive, however we call it, it can look very similar. For example, the dog is barking right, at the decoy. But if the training is not performed correctly, you can make the dog sharper, more nervous, right? That will go into like hectic fight mode, right? Rather than confident. And then this is the risk. Like if somebody will do it this way to your dog, then your dog may, do silly things in everyday life, right? So it's very, very important to find the decoy or helper or choose the good one that, understands the difference between building confidence in bite work or like versus making dog
or just getting a reaction, whatever it is.
Another thing is boost of motivation and improvement of play. All the dogs that, I'm observing that they're doing bite work, like they have amazing play and overall motivation is on much, much higher level. How do you think doing bite work affected your dogs in that sense?
Well, I have touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but the main thing I think, possibly with border collies and generally with dogs that are quite responsive to body pressure and then just mental pressure, really, or any sort of pressure. Border collies are very observant when it comes to that. So I think bite work training really helps them to overcome the sensitivities if they have any. And they learn to work through that. They learn how to respond to it as well. One of my dogs, Dachi, she definitely had a very big problem with that, and it was visible even mostly actually when she was playing with me. So she did want the toy, but she wanted the toy, not necessarily to play with me with the toy. And she's quite sensitive to pressure, and she didn't want me to be near the toy just purely because of the proximity of myself, my hand next to the toy. Whereas when we started doing bites with you, I could see huge difference. She was able to be braver with that, and she knew what's happening during play much better as well. So she started understanding that the pressure is just part of the game. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, but then she wins. So there are some challenges, but she can overcome them, and she can win in general.
Another benefit, if you can control your dog around the decoy in the bite burst, I strongly believe you can control your dog anywhere, around any sort of distraction. The most impressive thing in the bite work, I think, is a control. Because you can teach the dog to bite, right? You can teach it, like you can make the dog crazy. But the beauty of the bite spurs is that you have that balance between intensity to the decoy and control by the handler, or responsiveness to the handler, right? So this is the beauty of the bite spurs. If I can call my dog halfway from running to the decoy, I can easily control my dog halfway from running to the rabbit or whatever.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And I think it's quite similar actually also with sheep herding for any herding breeds. Because they are, like, if they are herding sheep, if a border collie is herding sheep, that's probably like an ultimate arousal level and excitement and motivation and everything there. So this is what they were bred for. So they are in really, really, like, it's a really difficult situation for them to listen. But once you get to the level when you can ask the dog to listen to you, you can call them away once the job is done, or you can ask them to lie down, turn left, turn right. This is what I love watching as well. So you can see that the dog is there. They can be very far away from the handler with sheep, but they still are connected to the handler.
The last thing, what I like about doing any sort of protection sport, that also I could compare to martial art, that if shit will hit the fan, you may end up having protection dog, or the dog that will actually protect you. Like, so many people are so delusional about the dog's ability to protect, right? My friend, she has, I'm not sure if she is going to listen to that podcast, but she has Bull Mastiff, and she said, like, of course, like, he would protect me. Like, against what? Right? I would walk past this dog. Like literally, this dog is not going to protect you against like anything, especially if anyone will break to your house, for example. So
but maybe with just his looks, because he's quite a big boy.
Yeah, looks matter. Cool. Okay, that's gonna be it. Any final thoughts?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for today.
Okay, I will see you in the next one.
Thank you. Bye.